Most people are terrified about being alone. They fill every quiet moment with noise, scrolling, texting, watching, doing anything to avoid the silence. But what if I told you that the reason you feel stuck, lost, or drained is because you never spent time alone with yourself? Isolation isn't punishment, it's power. The most successful, grounded, and fulfilled people I know all have one thing in common. They protect their alone time like their life depends on it. Because it does. You have to have alone time. Welcome back to the Marcus Allgood Show. I appreciate everybody listening and watching and sharing the show. We've been getting out there a little bit more, and I really appreciate that. I learn something new every week when I put these podcasts together, and I hope you get some value out of it and share it with some friends. So why do people avoid isolation? I know I do. It's taken me a long time to not avoid isolation. Like I always used to have the radio, like some kind of music going, or now it's like I'm scrolling through TikToks while I'm cooking, or, I can't just sit in silence for a long time. And the older I get, the more I get to do it. Like I get to sometimes just drive to the shop with no music on, nothing, just me and the road. We're driving back from Pensacola, sometimes on a long drive. You just sit there and just go with it. Sometimes I'll go with 1,000-meter runs and just not listen to any music, not have the AirPods on. And it's crazy what your mind comes up with and what you think about during these runs and during this alone time. But it's so much better for you in the end. Like you get to clear your mind full of a bunch of things. So we confuse solitude with loneliness, and it's not being lonely at all. It's just something that you need to sit down with and just go through to listen to your own thoughts and figure out who you are. We think being alone means being unwanted when it's actually the space where you met yourself again. And being alone and unwanted are two completely different things. Unwanted, you get through that. You go through that a lot in high school, grade school, just through school where, you're trying to find friends and you don't find any friends. And the older you get, the way less friends you have. So it's actually like a good thing. You'll be trained up if you don't have any friends in high school. But it is going to be a harder time to realize that when you're much younger. But when you get older, you understand that your peace depends on loneliness and just sitting in silence. We fear what silence reveals. If you're always distracted, you never have to face your own thoughts. That's why many people can't stand quiet. Silence exposes the truth. And that's why a lot of people will drink, do drugs, all sorts of other things to, keep yourself distracted from the actual truth you have to face that day. Whatever problems you have that day, whatever emotions you're feeling that day, you have to actually face them. Oh no, why would you want to do that? It's actually better to face it now than it is to face it in a couple of days when you sober up. We are definitely overstimulated. Notifications, noise, and social media have trained us to fear stillness. We become addicted to the noise because it drowns out the discomfort. I find myself, as soon as the phone goes off, like it's really hard for me to just not answer a text. It's really, really hard. And sometimes I do it. Sometimes I just won't. I'll just turn the phone back off. I just won't answer it. And it's almost like, it's a full-on addiction for sure, but I can break it every once in a while. And just to, sit here in silence, to not do anything, when you're making dinner or, out running or just hanging out in the car, it's hard. It feels like you're bored. You really need to do something. And you're looking at your phone and you're like, no, just leave it alone. And then you turn the screen back on. Whew, it gets crazy. We crave validation. Some people stay constantly around others because they need approval to feel enough. Alone time feels empty when your worth depends on external attention. I know that used to be the way I was. Now, with the wife and the kids, like I value my alone time that I get. I get to do this. Obviously, it's taking up another spot, but there are, I'll probably go full clothes next and just hang out. It's not a bad thing to not be with somebody all the time. It is okay just to be with yourself, especially if you like yourself. It's also going to teach you how to like yourself by being alone and dealing with the emotions that you have going on in your head and dealing with the thoughts that you have going on. It can be tough at times, but in the real aspect of things, it's a lot better. There are times when I get just so tired, I'm burnt out. Not really burnt out, but I'm just so tired. I'm like, oh my gosh. Start having all these thoughts of, sad music going, and you just like everything's caving in on you. Like, I just don't know what to do. What is going on? Like, why do I feel this way? I'm feeling heavy. I'm feeling like my mind is just not there, and I'm feeling all cloudy. I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta go to bed. I've got to get some sleep tonight. And usually the next day, wake up and I'm like, whew, I'm me again. It's okay. It's just a lot of times it's just you get so tired and you're just so on the go all the time. If you can't be alone with your thoughts, it's not loneliness, it's your feeling. It's avoidance. If you can't be alone with your thoughts, it's not loneliness you're feeling, it's avoidance. So just think about that. It's not that you're lonely, it's the fact that you are avoiding something and you need to figure out what you're avoiding at that time. Could it be your emotions? Could it be something that you have to do tomorrow? Is it something that, like a hard conversation you have to have? Is it going to work? I mean, there's all sorts of different things that you're going to have to face that you're avoiding. And just once you face it, it's really not that bad. It's not as bad as you think it's going to be up in your head. The purpose of solitude brings clarity. When you disconnect from the noise, you reconnect with your truth. You get to find out all sorts of cool stuff about yourself and just the things that you could be doing with your time instead of scrolling through social media, listening to the music. There's different things that go on in your brain that just makes it kind of more exciting to be alone and find out what you think about. And when you're thinking about those things, write them down. Keep a little journal and look back on them and see what your brain came up with. See how you're feeling that day. It's really powerful when you go back and read this stuff. Solitude heals. It gives your nervous system space to slow down and recover from chaos. A lot of us live in chaos, and I know I do. I'm not going to say I wish I didn't. I just don't know any other life without it. Like, I don't know what it's like to have your brain not running 100 miles a minute all the time. Apparently some people do. Good for them. Proud of them. And that's exciting. But my brain is constantly going. Like, the only time it really shuts off is before bed. And I have to really practice hard to fall asleep. Solitude sharpens focus. Without distractions, you can think deeply and solve problems faster. That is 100% true. If you go out there, turn off your phone, turn off all distractions on your computer, you get a lot done in 30 minutes than you can when your phone is dinging and red bubbles pop up and, the kids are jamming out, calling after you. You got a timer for your food you're cooking and you're trying to do everything. Like, it slows yourself way down. Solitude builds self-trust. You start hearing your own voice instead of the world's noise. A lot of times you're giving yourself good advice. Sometimes you're giving yourself some bad advice, and sometimes you're yelling at yourself. You're talking bad to yourself. You're talking worse to yourself than you would talk to your best friend. And you got to change that. You got to change it into more positivity. And, the more you spend time with yourself in solitude and with no noise around you, the more self-trust you're going to build up and the more positive things you're going to be able to tell yourself. So one example is we're constantly surrounded by people or distractions. Your identity gets shaped by what everyone else wants. But when you pull back, you start asking better questions. What do I actually want? Who am I outside of everyone's expectations? What kind of life do I want to build? Those answers don't come from noise. They come from stillness. If you're sitting there listening to music and you ask, what do I actually want? You're just going to be like, I just want to listen to the music. And it's not what you actually want, probably. Who am I outside everyone's expectations? That's what a really good thing is. That's where you set your own goals and you go for the goals and don't worry about what everybody else is thinking. So the strength that comes from isolation. Isolation doesn't weaken you. It builds your foundation. You develop emotional independence. You stop needing people to fix, validate, or rescue you. You are your own rescuer. You are the one who fixes it. And you are the one who gives yourself validation. You tell yourself positive things like, great job doing that. You did a good job making dinner. This dinner is delicious. You should become a chef. or, great job working out. You're constantly feeding yourself the validation that you need. You become mentally tougher. Time only forces you to think, process, and handle things on your own, keeping you sober, hopefully. And those things are a lot of times tough to process and get through, but the more you sit and think about it, the more you're gonna gain from it, for sure. You gain spiritual depth. When you're quiet long enough, you start to feel connected, not to the social approval, but to the purpose. What is your purpose? And the only way you're going to find out what your purpose is by sitting still and really thinking about it and listening to your voice and asking it good questions and listening to the answers that it pops out. You unlock creativity. Some of the best ideas will never come in meetings or crowds. They'll come in silence when your brain finally has space to think. Like we talked about before, in the shower, you always come up with some great ideas. Like there really needs to be a whiteboard that you can use in the shower, or tell Google or Alexa or Siri to take a note while you're in the shower and get that thought onto paper and see if you can come up with anything else to go with it. See if it could be the next $1 million idea, or just even something to calm your nerves and put you in a more peaceful spot. Alone time isn't isolation, it's incubation. It's where strength, clarity, and creativity are born. It's an amazing time as long as you can handle it, but the more you practice it, the better you can handle it. How to turn isolation into power. Schedule solitude. Protect time in your day for quiet, even if it's just 15 minutes. And I know 15 minutes probably seems like a lot to a bunch of people. Start out with 2 or 3 minutes and bump it up to 5, then bump it up to 7, and just keep bumping it up until maybe you're 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes of just isolation, just solitude, and just schedulely thinking. And it doesn't have to be full on meditation. It's just sitting there hanging out. It's not being lazy. Like my brain tells me I'm being lazy when I just sit there for 10 minutes. It's hard for me to just take that noise out and put something else in, like the good positive thoughts. Mornings and evenings are the best time for reflection before the world's noise floods in. I like to work out first thing in the morning, so I already get up early enough. Evening would probably be the better choice for me, but it depends on what you want to do. What's your schedule permit? Do you have time to do that? I like to, once the kids go to bed, I like to turn on a little TV. So it's just one of those, when do you have time? When can you get that in? Reflect, don't escape. Don't use solitude to numb out with your phone or TV. Just use your thoughts. Use it to journal, pray, meditate, or walk without headphones. I like walking without headphones, I usually carry my phone, but I like doing it without the noise. It's just a nice time to hear what's going on in the world, hear the birds chirp, and just let your mind go wandering around and see what happens. You can ask deeper questions. What am I running from? What's working? What's not? If nothing could fail, what would I do next? That one's really hard. I think about all the time, like, what would I do if money was no option and it would just bring me happiness? And I still haven't figured it out. I mean, I probably just work out all the time. That would probably what would make me the happiest. It's just be able to work out like 4 or 5 days a day, 4 or 5 hours a day, maybe 3. I don't know, however many hours it takes to just get paid for it. And then I could just work out and hang out with my kids, hang out with the wife, cook food, eat right. Oh man, it'd be amazing. Create before you consume. Use quiet time to build something, a plan, a workout, an idea, before scrolling or consuming. Learn to enjoy your own company. Take yourself on a coffee date or walk or a trip without needing someone to come along. Go out and eat some lunch by yourself or some dinner by yourself, or even go to breakfast by yourself. Sit there and just watch people, watch what's going on in the coffee shop or watch what's going on in the restaurant, and just take your time and just relax. There's nothing wrong with being by yourself. Nothing wrong with eating by yourself. Go watch a movie by yourself. That's not quite the same, but you are by yourself, hanging out, just eating some popcorn. That's how you build peace from the inside out. Don't be afraid of isolation. Use it, because in solitude, you meet your real self. You reconnect with your vision, your power, your truth. The next time you feel lonely, ask yourself, Am I actually lonely? Or am I just uncomfortable being with the real me? Because when you master being alone, you'll never feel lonely again. Master being with yourself. Master who you are. Be in love with yourself. It is okay. It's not conceited. You just know who you are. And that's the pod. I appreciate everybody watching. And if you've got any value out of this, definitely share it. Thank you.